Good evening. Let's read a bit more before I'm getting too tired. So I will go to bed and reading. I like to finish reading about this Boeing 737s, so I can close this webpage. I don't know if I have enough power. I'll try to read all the 7 classic and next generation, the Max. Yes, but maybe it's too long, I don't know. But I will go to my bed and read.
Boeing 737 Classic. The Boeing 737 Classic is a series of narrow-body airliners produced by Boeing Commercial Airplanes, the second generation of the Boeing 737 series of aircraft. Development began in 1979 and the first variant, the 737-300, first flew in February 1984 and entered service that December. The stretched 737-400 first flew in February 1988 and entered service later that year. The shortest variant, the 737-500, first flew in June 1989 and entered service in 1990. Compared to the original series, the Classic series was re-engined with the CFM56, a high-bypass turbofan, for better fuel economy and had upgraded avionics. With a 133,500 150,000 pound, 60.668.0 t, it has a range of 2,060 to 2,375 nautical miles, mi. 3,815 to 4,398 kilometers, 2,371 to 2,733 mi. At 102 feet, 31 m, the -500 is similar in length to the original 737-200 and can fly 110 to 132 passengers. The 110-foot long, 34 m, -300 can seat 126 to 149 passengers, while the 120-foot long, 37 m, -400 accommodates 147 to 168 seats. It competed with the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 series, then with the Airbus A320 family, which prompted Boeing to update its offer with the 737 next generation, thus designating the -300/400/500 variants as the 737 Classic. In total, 1,988 aircraft were delivered from 1984 until production ended in the year 2000. 1,113-300s, 486-400s and 389-500s. Development and design, edit. Background, edit. Following the success of the Boeing 737-200 Advanced, Boeing wanted to increase capacity and range, incorporating improvements to upgrade the plane to modern specifications, while also retaining commonality with previous 737 variants. Development began in 1979, and in 1980, preliminary aircraft specifications were released at the Farnborough Air Show. The new series featured CFM56 turbofan engines, yielding significant gains in fuel economy and a reduction in noise, but also posing an engineering challenge given the low ground clearance of the 737, a tray of its 707 derived fuselage. Boeing and engine supplier CFM International solved the problem by placing the engine ahead of, rather than below, the wing, and by moving engine accessories to the sides, rather than the bottom, of the engine pod, giving the 737 a distinctive non-circular air intake. The wing incorporated a number of changes for improved aerodynamics. The wingtip was extended 9 inches, 23 centimeters. The leading edge slats and trailing edge flaps were adjusted. The flight deck was improved with the optional electronic flight instrumentation system, and the passenger cabin incorporated improvements similar to those on the Boeing 757. The family also featured a redesigned vertical stabilizer with a dorsal fin at the base. Model developments, edit. In March 1981, US Air and Southwest Airlines each ordered 10 aircraft of the 737-300 series, with an option for 20 more. That aircraft, the initial model of the 737 Classic series, first flew in February 1984 and entered service in December of that year with Southwest Airlines. A further stretched model, the 737-400, was launched with an order for 25 aircraft with 30 options from Piedmont Airlines in June 1986. That aircraft first flew in February 1988 and entered service later that year with Piedmont Airlines. The final model of the series, the 737-500, was launched with an order for 30 aircraft from Southwest Airlines in May 1987. That aircraft, which was designed as a replacement for the 737-200 and had similar passenger capacity and dimensions, as well as the longest range of any member of the 737 Classic family, first flew in June 1989 and entered service with Southwest Airlines in 1990. Engines, edit. Boeing selected the CFM56-3 exclusively to power the 737-300 variant. The 737 wings were closer to the ground than previous applications for the CFM56, necessitating several modifications to the engine. The fan diameter was reduced, which reduced the bypass ratio, and the engine accessory gearbox was moved from the bottom of the engine, the 6 o'clock position, to the 9 o'clock position, giving the engine nacelle its distinctive flat-bottomed shape, which is often nicknamed the hamster pouch. The overall thrust was also reduced, from 24,000 to 20,000 lbf, 107 to 89 kN, mostly due to the reduction in bypass ratio. Speed trim system, edit. The 737 Classic saw introduction of speed trim system, STS, a flight augmentation system that adjusts the stabilizer automatically at low speed, low weight, aft center of gravity and high thrust with autopilot disengaged. Most frequently it can be observed during takeoffs and go-arounds. The system relies on most of the same hardware and software used in autopilot mode. STS is not fail-safe in that it uses only one of each sensor types required for its functionality and a single computer. Such a single-channel design is not common for augmentation systems that have full control of the stabilizer. This design was considered acceptable because of the ability for the aft and forward column cutout switches as well as center console cutout switches to constrain its malfunction. The limited flight envelope protections on the 737 Next Generation series, as well as MACUS on the 737 MAX, are later extensions of this system. Further developments, edit. See also, Boeing 737 Next Generation. Throughout the 1980s, the 737 Classic series attracted large orders from airlines in the United States and Europe, with its order totals exceeding those of preceding 737 models. By far, the most successful model was the 737-300, with deliveries totaling 1,113 aircraft. The 737-400 and -500 reached 486 and 389 deliveries, respectively. Major operators included U.S. carriers, small national airlines, and charter carriers. By the 1990s, when regular Boeing customer United Airlines bought the Airbus A320, this prompted Boeing to update the slower, shorter-range 737 Classic -400 into the re-winged, updated, more efficient, longer 737-800. Production of the 737 Classic continued alongside that of the next generation for a period of time. The first 737-700 was completed in December 1996. The last 737 Classic was completed in February 2000. Modifications, edit. 6 former Southwest Airlines 737-300s are modified and operated for aerial firefighting by British Columbia-based Coulson Group, supported by a loan by the Canadian government for CA $3.4 million, 2018, equivalent to CA $3.61 million or $2.89 million in 2021. The converted 737 Fireliner can carry 4,000 US gal, 15 m, with a flow rate of 3,000 US gal, 11 m, /s, and retain 66 seats. The first was completed in 2018 and deployed to Australia. Variants, edit. 737-300, edit. The prototype of the -300 rolled out of the Renton plant on the 17th of January 1984, and first flew on the 24th of February 1984. After it received its flight certification on the 14th of November 1984, US Air received the first aircraft on the 28th of November. It proved a very popular aircraft. Boeing received 252 orders in 1985, and over 1,000 throughout its production. The 300 series remained in production until the last aircraft was delivered to Air New Zealand on the 17th of December 1999, registration ZKNGJ. By then, 1,113 Boeing 737-300s had been produced over more than 15 years. In December 2008, Southwest Airlines selected Boeing to retrofit the 737-300 with a new set of instruments, hardware, and software, to improve commonality with the 737-700, as well as to support the required navigation performance initiative, but that order was later cancelled and the retrofits never took place. The 737-300 can be retrofitted with aviation partners Boeing winglets. The 737-300 retrofitted with winglets is designated the -300 SP, Special Performance, first entered service in June 2003. Used passenger -300 aircraft have also been converted to freighter versions. The 737-300 has been replaced by the 737-700 in the Boeing 737 Next Generation family. 737-400, edit. The 737-400 design was launched in 1985 to fill the gap between the 737-300 and the 757-200, and competed with the Airbus A320 and McDonnell Douglas MD-80. It stretched the 737-300 another 10 feet, 3.05 m, to carry up to 188 passengers. It included a tail bumper to prevent tail scrapes during takeoff, an early issue with the 757, and a strengthened wing spar. The prototype rolled out on the 26th of January, 1988, and flew for the first time on the 19th of February, 1988. The aircraft entered service on the 15th of September, 1988, with launch customer Piedmont Airlines. 25 aircraft ordered. The last two Boeing 737-400s, the last Boeing 737 Classics, were delivered to CSA Czech Airlines on the 28th of February, 2000. The 737-400 was replaced by the 737-800 in the Boeing 737 Next Generation family. 737-400 SF, edit. The 737-400 SF, Special Freighter, is a 737-400 that has been converted to whole cargo. Alaska Airlines was the first to convert one of their 400s from regular service to an aircraft with the ability to handle 10 pallets. The airline has also converted 5 more into fixed combi aircraft for half-passenger and freight. These 737-400 combi aircraft were retired in 2017 and replaced with 737-700Fs in November 2018. VX Capital launched and secured on 35 737-400 freighters valued at $250 million, an average of $7.1 million, to be leased for $100,000 per month each. 737-500, edit. The -500 series has the smallest dimensions of the 737 Classics. The -500 was offered, due to customer demand, as a modern and direct replacement of the 737-200, incorporating the improvements of the 737 Classic series in a model that allowed longer routes with fewer passengers to be more economical than with the 737-300. Though smaller than the -300 and -400, the fuselage length of the -500 is 1 foot 7 in, 48 centimeters, longer than the 737-200, accommodating up to 140 passengers. Both glass and older-style mechanical cockpits arrangements were available. Using the CFM56-3 engine also gave a 25% increase in fuel efficiency over the older -200 SP and W engines. The 737-500 was launched in 1987 by Southwest Airlines, with an order for 20 aircraft, and flew for the first time on the 30th of June, 1989. A single prototype flew 375 hours for the certification process, and on the 28th of February, 1990, Southwest Airlines received the first delivery. The 737-500 has become a favorite of some Russian airlines, with Mordavia, Rossiya Airlines, S7 Airlines, Sky Express, Transaero, UTE, and Yamal Airlines all buying second-hand models of the aircraft to replace aging Soviet-built aircraft and forward/or expand their fleets. Aerolíneas Argentinas replaced its 737-200s with second-hand 737-500s. The 737-500 was replaced by the 737-600 in the Boeing 737 Next Generation family. However, unlike the 737-500, the 737-600 was a slow seller for Boeing, with only 69 aircraft delivered since its introduction. As the retirement of all 737 classic models progressed, with retirement of 300s and -500s reaching 40% in 2012, the 737-500 has faced accelerated retirement because of its smaller size. Aircraft of this series were being retired after 21 years of use, as compared to 24 years for the 737-300. While a few 737-300s are slated for freighter conversion, there is no demand for a -500 freighter conversion. On the 5th of September, 2016, Southwest Airlines flew their last 737-500 revenue flight, Flight 377 from El Paso to Dallas. Operators, edit. Civilian, edit. Main article, list of Boeing 737 operators. As of July 2019, 692 Boeing 737 classic aircraft were in commercial service. This includes 297-300s, 261-400s, and 134-500s. Military, edit. Many countries operate the 737 passenger and cargo variants in government or military applications. 1 Brazil, Chile, China, Colombia, India, Indonesia, Kuwait, Mexico, Niger, Peru, South Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, Venezuela and others. Deliveries, edit. Number of deliveries. Type total 2000, 1999, 1998, 1997, 1996, 1995, 1994, 1993, 1992, 1991, 1990, 1989, 1988, 1987, 1986, 1985, 1984. 737 to 300, 1113, 29, 52, 65, 37, 52, 54, 54, 57, 69, 67, 89, 141, 137, 120, 83, 7. 737 to 400, 486, 29, 33, 33, 21, 13, 32, 68, 82, 56, 63, 57, 17, 15. 737 to 500, 389, 431, 34, 18, 24, 35, 30, 79, 90, 44. Total 1988, 242, 116, 132, 76, 89, 121, 152, 218, 215, 174, 146, 158, 152, 120, 83, 7. Aircraft on display, edit. Not all are shown. 1N759BA, an ex-China Southern Airlines 737-300 formerly registered B2921, is on display at the Pima Air and Space Museum in Tucson, Arizona. 2N300SW, Southwest Airlines' first 737-300 delivered in November 1984, is displayed at the Frontiers of Flight Museum at Love Field in Dallas, Texas. 3G DOP. An ex-British Airways 737-400 is on display at Cranfield University's airport in the United Kingdom, where it is currently in use by the University for Education. 4JA301K Super Dolphin 737-500, formerly operated on all Nippon Airways short-haul Anawings routes, was taken out of retirement on the 1st of February 2018, and preserved for use as a maintenance training aircraft at Haneda Airport, Tokyo. Accidents and incidents, edit. Main article, list of accidents and incidents involving the Boeing 737. As of January 2021, 64 hull losses of Boeing 737 Classic Series aircraft have occurred, with 1,298 fatalities. An analysis by Boeing on commercial jet airplane accidents in the period 1959-2017 showed that the Classic Series had a hull loss rate of 0.71 per million departures versus 0.17 for the Next Generation series and 1.75 for the original series. Specifications, edit. 737-300/400/500. Variant 737 to 300, 737 to 400, 737 to 500. Cockpit crew 2 class 126, 8F at 36 in, 118Y at 32 in, 147. 10F at 36 in, 137Y at 32 in, 110, 8F at 36 in, 102Y at 32 in. 1 class 140 at 32 in, 149 at 30 in, 159 at 32 in, 168 at 30 in, 122 at 32 in, 132 at 30 inches. Exit limit 149, 188, 145. Seat width 6 abreast, 17 in, 43.2 centimeters, 5 abreast, 19 in, 48.3 centimeters, 4 abreast, 21 in, 53.3 centimeters. Overall length 109 feet 7 in, 33.4 m, 119 feet 7 in, 36.4 m, 101 feet 9 in, 31.0 m. Wingspan, 94 feet 9 in, 28.9 m, area, 979.9 square feet, 91.04 m, sweep, 25 degrees, R 9.17. Height 36 feet 6 in, 11.1 m, cabin, 84.2 in, 213.9 centimeters. Fuselage width 12 feet 4 in, 3.76 m. Tow 138,500 pound, 62,820 kilograms, 150,000 pound, 68,040 kilograms, 133,500 pound, 60,550 kilograms. Maximum payload 37,240 pound, 16,890 kilograms, 40,240 pound, 18,250 kilograms, 32,560 pound, 14,770 kilograms. OEW 72,360 pound, 32,820 kilograms, 76,760 pound, 34,820 kilograms, 70,440 pound, 31,950 kilograms. Fuel capacity 5,311 US gal, 20,100 L. Cargo capacity 1,068 cubic feet, 30.2 m, 1,373 cubic feet, 38.9 m, 882 cubic feet, 23.3 m. Takeoff 7,500 feet, 2,286 m, 8,690 feet, 2,649 m, 8,630 feet, 2,630 m. Service ceiling 37,000 feet, 11,278 m. Speed MMO, Mach 0.82, 473 kn, 876 km per hour.